Hey everybody, it's Anini, and this is episode 3 of the Dragalia Podcast, and I am exhausted. Uh, it's been a trip and a half at work the past couple days. I've been so tired and so beat from work, I just haven't had the energy to really do what I want to do. So today, I think I'm just going to summon. I'm going to ramble on while I waste away my stash and spark something. I was thinking about it. I can't decide whether I want to spark Humanoid Jupiter or Kimono Knot, and I probably won't know until I have to choose, but I'm just gonna summon. I guess that's what I'm gonna do. These Platinum showcases are running at the same time, 5 of them at once, one for each element. These are bad deals. Don't do these. Don't do these unless you're missing, like, I don't even know, at least 5 units in the pool. If you're only missing, like, 0, I mean, obviously 0 don't summon, but, like, if you're only missing, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, even maybe 5, probably not worth it because the odds are just so high that you're going to get Eldwater. Unless you really want to spend like $20 for some Eldwater, I wouldn't recommend it. I have gotten lucky on Platinums before, but I've also gotten unlucky. It's just how it is. I'm not really feeling like it today, so I'm going to go for a sure thing. I've got a Spark ready to go, and I've got a little Warmite left to farm still from stories, so let's see. Do 10 singles. Oh, man, there was a lot I wanted to talk about, but I can't do it justice. Like, Valerio's Mana Spiral just came out, and it's incredible. Uh, especially, like, if you're struggling with Legend Twins still, like, he is the unit to get, for sure. One man army, Swiss Army knife for that one. But even in Nihility, he's excellent. So, uh, and then, I was testing him out in Primal Brunhilde. I didn't really even talk about Primal Brunhilde at all. It's a fun quest. I like it. I find it easier than Midgard Sormer. Harder to auto battle because water units just aren't busted like flame units are. But that's okay. I auto battle it when basically on the weekends when I'm have time to just have my phone run and then check on it once in a while. Usually it'll clear expert, 1 or 2 times, or maybe like 18 times at most, and then it'll fail a whole bunch of times, and it's just how it goes. I've made some progress on my Brunhilde weapons, but I still got a lot of work to do on that. My goal is to basically finish grinding Primal Brunhilde by like the time Zodiarc's out, so I don't have to divide my weekly chests, I guess. And there doesn't really seem to be much point in taking it as slow as I did. Like when Midgard came out, I really stretched it out, and I didn't rush it, and I just took my time and enjoyed it because I knew there wasn't any other endgame quests coming out for, weeks and months, so I was like, oh, I'll just enjoy it, take it slow, and that was fine. But even then, like, ended up finishing before Brunhilde ever came out, and I even made a copy of the Wind Sword with some extra grinding. So I'm not going to take it that leisurely with Brunhilde and the rest. I'm just going to try to shoot for finishing them all in a month and see how that goes. I don't think I would even say I'm quite halfway on Brunhilde yet, but this is still early on in April, so we got a 5-star. Something new, maybe a wand. I am not missing any wands that I recall. Got them all. Yep. Summer Shell. Man, I love her. She's great. She is fun. Very simple unit to use. Just one attack skill, like Bond Forged Ezia, but her gimmick is, she has to use her first skill 3 times and then reset it with her skill 2, which gives her some dragon gauge, and then she shifts into Summer Cat Sith, which isn't that great of a dragon. So, I mean, she's okay, and she does okay on AI control. She keeps Flashburn going because she lowers the resistance of the boss, which is helpful. And she's really great for legend quests because those are notoriously oppressive with their ailment resistances and such. And plus 2 phases on Legend Dominion. So if you want to use double Punisher, you're going to build up resistance by the time you get to that second phase. So she's a cool unit. I have used her manually, and I've enjoyed using her, but she's definitely nothing incredible these days. The power creep has gotten so crazy that even units like her are seen as kind of like no big deal. And that's the thing, right? Like, I'm going to do this Spark, and Humanoid Jupiter is not good. Like, he's not that useful. He's not that good. I would want him mostly just because he's a great worm, and I have the others, and that's basically it. I think he looks cool, and I like the great worms, and that's basically it for him. Komodo, she's not busted at all, but she is very unique, and I think she could end up being very helpful for doing the expert auto runs in Zodiark next month. So the smart thing is probably to pick her. We'll see. I don't know. I'll probably pick her, but we'll see. 1 5-star. Okay. What do we get? A staff. Well, I don't have Kimono Knot. And that's the only permanent healer I'm missing. I have all the others. Even Nina. Got lucky with her. Barely spent anything. Alright, what we got? Estelle. Nope. Zhangzia. Zhangzia, I remember when she first came out, there was a Dragalia whale that had a YouTube channel. I used to love his videos. All he really did was summon and talk about the game. He didn't really do gameplay videos that I remember, but his name was Mapivos. I hope I'm saying his name right. I used to love his videos. I talked to him in the comments all the time. Fun guy, but he wailed big time for Zhangzia, and that was before Spark existed. So he spent, I think $500 or something getting her, and it ended up he quit the game because he just went so overboard on that. That was so sad. Oh, man. To see him get screwed so bad. For somebody that spends on the game like that, too. It's like you get this feeling when you... It's easy to get this feeling when you spend on the game. Like, oh, I give the game all this money, I deserve good luck. But it doesn't quite work that way. I hope he's doing okay these days. He's probably not playing Dragalia Lost, that's for sure. Gnarly Toe Step. Yarlathotep. However you say his name. Okay, well. So far, this Spark is a total bomb. I kind of expected that. Let's see how things go. Another 5-star. What do we got? Last one. Okay. Dragon. The only permanent dragons I'm missing are Uriel and Hestur. And that's it. And the odds of pulling them is like nothing. So I don't have my hopes up, but if I get one of those, hey, great. New dragon, you know. I'm definitely not going to use a Spark. Oh, yes! Yes! Sorry for clapping. This is literally the first time I've ever pulled Gaibne Cridne from actually summoning. I had to dream summon my only copy. Okay, and then use Sunstones on it. Oh, this feels so good. There's so many water teams where you want 2 of these things, and I only had 1 for years. It drove me crazy. Now, finally, I can do whatever I want. This is amazing. Okay, well, I'm very happy. Not a new thing, but man, that is very very useful. Excellent. Okay, Creepy Bunny. Great. All right. Well, can we top that? Can I get something new? Probably not. Oh. I was debating like keeping my stash for a while. Because I don't have Christmas Ilya or Nevin, and I really kind of wanted to have them. But I don't know when they're going to rerun them. It could be, you know, the next Sigil showcase. It could be months from now. I don't know. You know, I'll have more Wormite and stuff down the road. I'll figure it out. But I don't know. The anniversary packs were there, and I'm like, you know, I'm going to buy them anyway. At least 1 or 2. Ended up buying 2 of them. I'm like, well, you know, here's an opportunity to spark any permanent unit. And saving my summons and not spending them isn't really going to benefit me that much, because nothing new coming out unless they do banners for the remaining primal great worms, like on a gala. I mean, I guess that's possible. They didn't say there would be no new dragons, but that's still a little far flung at this point, you know. Cross that bridge when we get there, but you know, I'm not devoid of Wormite that I can get from stories and stuff. It just takes so much time. And I hate skipping the stories. I love reading the stories. You know, there was a point where I panic skipped some stories to get Wormite for one of the galas. I forget which one it was. And I felt so bad about it because the ones I skipped were at the top of the list, and they were like all the main story character stories, like the actual stories that matter and you care about to understand what's going on in the game. And that just felt so bad, so I had to go back and read them after the fact. And I don't know. I just don't want to do that again. I'd rather just read them. You know? Ooh, 5-star. Okay. What do we got? 1. Alright. A staff. Could be not. Maybe. What do we got? Xania. I love Xania. The best pumpkin farming cat lady ever. With a cool hat. She's so nice. Taro. Mama's boy. Philia. My buddy Sylph is crazy about Philia. She's kind of the crazy, I don't know, she's not yandere. She's, I guess, dere or whatever. Oh, okay. Nina dupe. That's probably going to make somebody angry. Sorry. Okay. Well, that's a thing. Okay, well, Eldwater for me. It's to be expected. Oh. The past few nights, in the Discord server, we've been doing a lot of co-op. Straight Lace has wanted to catch back up on the quest that he kind of didn't get to experience when he quit the game. So he wants to try and at least do every quest one time. So he has a lot of, I think, grinding left to do with like weapon bonuses and stuff. So his stats aren't quite there. He's like, I think about 1,000 might below the max or so. So we're helping him. I don't want to say we're carrying him, but in some of the quests, I guess you could say that. But we're helping him get through. And it's been fun because some, like Master Surtur, I never even bothered to do it in co-op because I could just auto battle the solo version on like day 1. And, you know, it's like, why do I want to learn all these complicated patterns and stuff for a fight that's, you know, now granted, Surtur's probably like the most fun Dominion boss for me anyway, but even so, it was so much work to do it. So, but I finally did it, and it felt good to get that first clear myself. I think it was like 3 of us got our first clear. It was Straight Lace, me, and Speedy, and then Silver helped as Gelly too. But I think he had already done it before. I don't know. Rizarda. She's good. She's helpful. I especially like that they finally fixed her AI control to use her sigil unlocked normal attacks that dispel and does damage. That's very helpful. Good unit. So yeah, while we've been doing all these co-op missions, it's been nice because the raid's been going on, and then we've been doing a lot of co-op, so I've been burning through my massive pile of ashes finally, so that's nice. It was getting depressing looking at like 2,000 plus ashes not being used, and it's like, man. I love doing co-op on Dragalia Lost, but it's hard to get people to want to do it because it's so time consuming to set everything up and discuss strategy or what units you're going to use, or, you know, the harder the quest is, the more time it kind of takes. So, you know, people have school and work, and so on weekdays it's tough to make it happen. And I guess you just get in the habit of not doing it. And then auto battle is just out of control these days, so that doesn't help either. Ooh, 2 5 stars. Double Eldwater. Dragon and Wand again. Okay, so guaranteed some Eldwater. Let's see, what dragon we get? Ah, calmly. Okay, well, I already have one of him. I definitely don't need a second one. And shell again. Okay. That's like when I was summoning Marth for like when he first came out. I think I got Xander like 2 or 3 times. The pain of that psych out was just awful. I think the pain of getting Xander like 2 or 3 times when I already had him and I was trying to get Marth, I think that pushed me to spend more on the game, sadly. I think that first year in the game was when I spent the most money. There was no sparking back then, obviously. And you could summon Worm Prince, which I think actually wasn't... I think it was the Fire Emblem event where they took the Worm Prince out of the summoning pool finally, I think. Because right before that was Valentine's, and I definitely summoned 4 Chocolatiers, the limited skill prep Worm Print. That was cool to have. Because it meant that I could use Thaniel in High Brunhilde, the original one, and be a good Thaniel, and that felt good. I love Thaniel. He's got such a cool voice. And I found out that Thaniel's English voice actor is the same one that does a whole bunch of characters, like including Zodiark. And he's actually the Canadian voice actor that does the original ocean dub of Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. That blew my mind. Like, I could hear it after I read it, but I was like, no way. Come on, really? And even though the ocean dub is kind of cringe because they censor words like die and death, and, you know, because it was like they tried to make Dragon Ball Z more kid-friendly, but, like, the acting in that was second to none, though. Like, when they were screaming and really getting into it, oh, it was the old clips of Vegeta screaming at the top of his lungs. Oh, they just get me pumped. All right, so we got a gun. What do we get? Cerise. Hi, Cerise. Well, I did not get Joachim. I did not get Saiga. Those were the 2 gun units that I was missing. Oh well. That's a shame. Almost to the spark. Oof. I think, whoa, man, am I like 110? If I like 10 summons short, I might have to go get some more might. Whoops. Did I do my math wrong? Uh-oh. Oh well, I was pretty tired, so I just kind of glanced at it. If I'm 10 summons short, I guess I'm gonna do something to get. I guess I'll read stories to get Will I Babylon or something, and then Spark. I got time before I pass out, so yep. I can't do any more 10-folds. And I'm 20 summons short. Okay, so... Alright. Let's make something happen here. Oh, and I had one dragon story I haven't done. Primal Brunhilde. Well, let's read that one then. Oh, man. Hope you guys have had a good week. I've had a great week at work, despite being exhausted and everything else, but take the good with the bad. So, the phone I'm recording on, I guess I might as well just say, I dropped it in my sleep like a month ago, and it cracked the screen really bad. And there's a white line of dead pixels that goes across the middle horizontally of the screen. So like that whole top line of text, I just can't even read that. It's just not there. So that makes reading stories kind of hard when a whole line is just gone. The insurance company is supposed to send me a replacement, but they've been really dragging their feet. I guess because of the situation in California where they can't get the container ships offloaded fast enough. It's really affecting the United States. Sea to shining sea, it causes a lot of problems. I guess they're ordering the replacement phone from I don't know where Samsung assembles their phones. I know it's a Korean company, but I don't know if they manufacture in Hong Kong or what. But oh. So this story is going, from what I can read, it's going over basically how it's basically current events. Like most of the dragon stories are kind of like ancient history most of the time. So it'd be like, long ago this happened to this dragon type thing. This one is like current events. So this is like what is going on with Mim and Sheila, like right now, like training with each other to stop Xenos, the progenitor. Interesting. So I guess Mim's ancestor, the original Brunhilde, is like puzzled why Mim is so bizarre among dragons, like wanting to spend her time with humans, loving humans, and living with them, and learning their ways and stuff. Most dragons are pretty aloof and they keep their distance, but obviously Mim is special. She's the one who's in love with the prince, and who, I don't want to spoil, I guess, for those who haven't read, all of Mim's stories, but she has a long path to getting to there, which was good, because, like, when the game was brand new, and it just came out, and we only had 6 story chapters. The chapter where you meet Mim for the first time was so weird and jarring. It was like they're really going to have one of the dragons turn into a hot woman. Like, this is kind of like, what is this? Are they really going to do this? Because it was so different than anything else in the game at that point. All the other dragons, there were some humanoid looking dragons, but they didn't look like Mim. Like Phoenix still has horns, a tail, and big, bird wings, and like fangs, and heck, at launch we didn't even have Cerberus, which is kind of cheating. So, to see this this buxom woman, and like, I'm a dragon, like, what? But to be fair, they put a lot of effort into justifying that and to explaining it and to giving her a worthy backstory. So that was nice. They did a good job with Mim. She had a lot of stories, a lot of events where she got to chime in, and the few alts that she got, she had cool stories. They're very unique. Okay, so I guess this is going to spoil Mim's backstory, I guess, a little bit. The one thing about Primal Brunhilde that I don't like is that there's no voices. Primal Midgard at launch didn't have any voices in it, and it just didn't feel complete. Because the Great Worms, all in English, all have very good voice actors. Even though people they don't like Jupiter's because he sounds like a little boy or whatever, it makes sense because in Japanese, Jupiter is also voiced by Detective Conan, which is literally a little boy. So they definitely, that was intentional. Like, they wanted Jupiter to sound like a kid. And I like it, but a lot of people don't like it, but that's okay. You don't have to like everything. But anyway, that's Brunhilde. There's no voice, and I guess, I mean, I don't know. Like, the original High Brunhilde and all the fights against Brunhilde in the game, she wasn't voiced there either, and I don't know why. I think even in the Japanese version, there was no voices for her fights. And I don't know why they did that. In English, I could maybe understand because Mim actually changed voice actors a couple times. They went with a different actress, and then they swapped back to the original for one alt, and then they swapped back. So maybe there's trouble getting that actress to do the work, but I mean, for Midgard, they pretty much just reused a lot of voice lines that already existed. Like, they didn't have his voice actor come in and do new lines. Because while you're fighting Primal Midgard, if you look at the top of the screen, he actually has a lot of whoops, okay, there it is. He actually has a lot of written lines that he didn't voice, and he says a lot of stuff. So all right, so I said I wasn't going to skip, but this is going to take forever, and I am tired, so I am going to skip on stories for characters that I am not crazy about, ones that don't, sorry if this hurts your feelings, but Izumo is not a character I care too much for. He's okay. He's fun to use in battle, but I don't really care about his story. I don't know. I'm sure if I actually read what I'm skipping now, I would like him better, but I can't do this all night, so it is already past midnight, and I want to spark before reset here. So, let's see, where's my other... I'm gonna shift around. Where's my other, there it is. Let's see. I had wrote down a list of things to help me remember. Oh yeah, so so last episode, me and Sky were talking a lot about how we were trying to predict how the end of the story was going to go for Dragalia Lost based on the story previews we got. And I think I got pretty much everything wrong that I guessed. I was terrible. I did a terrible job. So I remember saying that I thought Let's see, who am I gonna? I guess Vania. I'll skip Vania. I remember saying that I thought that the true Bahamut was going to give his ultimate power to Zethia to like power her up to fight Xenos, and that was not even close. Could not be further from the truth to what happened. I was so shocked when I went through the current event story, the advent of the origin that's going on right now, the raid. I was shocked. I was like, wow, they're really going here. Like, I don't want to spoil it because it was a good, it's a good event. I mean, it's dragging on for a while too long, but still, like, if you haven't read the story in that, you should. Like, it explains basically where Bondforged, Yuden, and Zethia come from. And even though it's kind of a tropey explanation, it was still very enjoyable. So I would recommend it to you if you haven't read it yet. But yeah, I totally got Zethia wrong, and then I said, oh yeah, this new Yuden form, this is gonna that's not gonna appear in the event. That'll come later in the story, after Mordecai saves Yuden. Well, that was totally wrong. Not even close. Bondforged Yuden, right there. He definitely comes from the current raid event story. So, I'll collect the Wormite here. Sorry if this is not the most entertaining. Like I said, I'm too tired to like. I really wanted to like do an in-depth thing on Valerio and Primal Brunhilde and do all that, and I have some videos recorded, but I just can't do it tonight. All right, we will skip through Finny, I guess. I love Irene. Her design and her voice actor is the same as Louise, so that does it for me. But Finny, I don't know. Like, it's weird. Like, her visual design is so cool, but I don't know. Like, her personality is kind of like more like the Agito twins, where like she just wants to kill anybody that like gets in Irene's way. You know, she's that chaotic evil type character. You know, and she's painted as like too innocent to really like know better. And she's a machine, so she doesn't have a conscience or soul or anything. So, she just does what she's programmed or what she learns to do. So I don't hate Finny, but I definitely don't like her as much as Irene at all. I just like Irene's personality and everything about her better. Which, man, there's like no fan art for Irene because she's so hard to draw. Especially like her guns and her drones and stuff. Like, even if you don't include that, it's like, man. I guess OG Verica. I have read some stories over the years, but man, most of them I just haven't read, just because I don't get around to it. It's very time consuming. Like right now, I'm going to have to probably go back and watch this video later just to remember who I have to go back and read after this because there's so many. And my goal is to read them all before the game's over. Hopefully there's an offline version of the game so I can take my time and read the stories on weekends when I just have more time to enjoy it. But if we get like a deadline for when the game is just going to be gone, no more, then I'm going to try to make it a point to just take time and read the stories, I guess, instead of playing the quests, because I don't know, just reading them in the game is so much more fun than just reading them on like a wiki or on a script, because, you know, there's music and sound effects and the characters move around a little bit, and, you know, it's just more enjoyable that way. All right, another one down. Oh, okay. I probably should just buy Diamantium just so I don't bore you guys to tears. This is going to take a while, huh? Oh, I didn't get anything new either. Alright, we're going to skip. Yep. One more tenfold to spark. Oh, man. I really don't want to spend any more money. The game is... One way or another, the game's going to end, and I don't know. It just feels really stupid to keep spending on it. I mean, I just look at it as like tipping the development team for a job well done, but yeah, I don't know. There are limits. I've definitely given them a worthy tip this month, so, and then some. So, I think I'm good. Times are getting hard in real life here, you know? It's not really something you come to a Dragalia Lost video to hear about, but, you know, like, financially I'm doing okay, but, I'm feeling the pinch, man. Like, this inflation's no joke. The cost of everything's gone up, wages have gone up. It's just not good. Not good. Things in America are not doing well right now. Not at all. And that's part of why I loved logging in and playing Dragalia Lost every night. And then sometimes extra times during the day, because it was just a fun thing to do, to just get away from the stupidity and the sad things in real life, you know, to an extent. I think escapism is unhealthy if you do it too much, but I think, I don't know, like, I've definitely met people that say that all escapism is bad, and that's a pretty heavy burden. Like, if you couldn't enjoy, you know, any movies or comics or video games or whatever, and you saw that as all something wrong to do, man, I really would struggle with a viewpoint like that. I do know at least a few people like that, but I can't say they're wrong, like, because, you know, wasting your time on entertainment, I mean, can you really say that's a worthy use of time? Like, I could definitely be using my Dragalia time to do something more useful and productive, but, you know, at the same time, life isn't easy. And sometimes when you're low and things aren't going your way, you need something just to perk you up and kind of inspire you, show you a world outside your own, a viewpoint that you haven't experienced, you know? Obviously, not all fiction's created equal. There's plenty of awful games and awful movies out there, but Dragalia Lost is pretty dang awesome. It's really good. It's not perfect, nothing is, but in the few gacha games that I've played, Dragalia Lost is definitely the most fun that I've had. Even though, like, Fire Emblem Heroes, like, even though I know most of the Fire Emblem characters and I've played a bunch of the games, and that was really enjoyable to get my faves and everything. I just like Dragalia more. Like, I don't know really why exactly. I mean, there's definitely there's the goofy, happy-go-lucky stories, right? And there's the more serious, dark, gloomy stories, and they're dramatic ones, and it's a good mixture. There's a lot of plot-heavy stories, and so I guess narrative tone is kind of all over the place, but I think that's good for a gacha game where, like, you're supposed to play every day, because it gives you something a little different each time. A game like Fire Emblem, any one of them, you only really have one story that you're going through, so there's only one narrative tone, and it usually, hopefully, stays consistent. Oh, I'm gonna start yawning, sorry. Oh, man. So, is this sigil showcase a good deal? I would argue no, but, like, if you just got out of the last gala with Bonforge, Yuden, and Zethia, like I did, and you got lucky and you got them without spending everything you had, and you still have a huge stash, you might as well, because, unless you've got, like, all the permanent units, it's like, you might as well. Like, what else are you going to save for? Like I said, like, maybe some limited reruns down the road, but who knows when that's going to happen. And, like, if you've got a spark, you might as well use it on this and get something guaranteed that you want. A dream summon would be better, even though it's paid. It's a lot cheaper, actual, like, summon currency wise, but we didn't get a spark after anniversary. Not a spark. We didn't get a dream summon. We might still get a dream summon. I guess it's possible. But I don't know how likely it is. I guess if we get a dream summon after this, I don't mind spending another $20 to do that. I don't mind spending when I get exactly what I want, or I can guarantee that I get exactly what I want in the game. I would not spend any money if I didn't have a guarantee. And I would hope you would do the same. If you're considering spending, don't spend unless you have a guarantee you're going to get what you want. Like those platinum banners, yeah, like you can gamble and the odds aren't terrible, but like a 4% chance of getting what you want is still a 96% chance that you won't, so think about that before you pull the trigger on those. Oh, and before I get too tired, the other thing I want to talk about is who owns Dragalia Lost now. So this is something that I think barely anybody really knows right now, because in order to find this out, you have to go onto patent websites and look up Dragalia Lost, which, who does that, right? But somebody did, and Nintendo of America owns Dragalia Lost right now. Not Nintendo proper, not Cygames, but Nintendo of America does. So that's a very interesting thing, because I mean, this is now a Nintendo IP, right? An original IP, but with an American focus and the development team of a potential new game, right? And Dragalia was definitely more popular, I think, overseas and in Japan, but it's still unusual for Nintendo of America to acquire the rights to a franchise and not Nintendo proper. Like, Nintendo proper is a former owner, if I'm reading the trademark legalese correctly. Same with Cygames. So, is this a good thing? I mean, it's debatable. Nintendo has way more money than Cygames does. They can afford to make games and fun games that, maybe aren't a sure thing. But at the same time, how many Nintendo franchises over the years have been left to languish, gather dust? There's been a lot. So, Star Fox, right? They tried many times to kind of revive Star Fox, and they had some success on the DS, 3DS, but then the Wii U happened, and Miyamoto just totally embarrassed himself and dropped the ball on Star Fox Zero, which Star Fox Zero was just it was basically Star Fox 64, which they've already remade 3 or 4 times before that. And so it was just a retread of a game they already made with new stuff, and they still couldn't get it right, because they had the Wii U gamepad, and they were trying to make the game to justify the existence of this screen on this controller, right? Because it was just kind of a gimmicky thing. You could use it to play games on the gamepad while other people use the TV to watch TV. Kind of like the precursor to the Switch, But the range on it was very short, so you pretty much had to be in the room of the actual console. I loved my Wii U. I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't have a lot of games for it, but the ones I did have, I really liked. But Star Fox Zero was just a huge failure. The control scheme was awful. Um, it didn't make any sense. Like, you had to look at the TV and the gamepad screen at the same time, but holding the gamepad screen up to, in front of the TV blocked your view of the TV, and they made that like part of the gameplay. It was blocking your view. It doesn't make any sense, and just terrible failure. So now Star Fox is just on hiatus. Who knows when they'll ever try to do anything with Star Fox again, because it made Miyamoto look bad. F-Zero has been dead since the GameCube days. That was the last time they tried an F-Zero game. They had the arcade machine and the GameCube game that came out at the same time, and then nothing ever again. And somebody in Discord made a good point. It's probably because of Mario Kart. Like, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is doing so fantastic for Nintendo. Like, they don't have any need to make another racing game ever again until the Switch is replaced, basically. So F-Zero's in limbo for many, many years. Basically, even before they had a super successful Mario Kart to fall back on, they just didn't feel like making an F-Zero game. Their excuse was, well, we just don't have any ideas to make it fresh. But does it have to be fresh? Like, there's plenty of great games out there. Or if you just give people more of the same with just like a new coat of paint and some new locales to explore, some new characters, like, that's good enough for most people, If you love the game, then you don't need to reinvent the wheel, but, Nintendo often thinks they have to. Okay, Sarah. And then there's Earthbound, right? They keep releasing Mother 1 and Earthbound, Mother 2. They keep re-releasing those in different forms. And that's cool, let people experience those games. They're really not for me, but I know people really love them. Some people do. But, the whole meme about Mother 3, like, they're never going to localize Mother 3. It's just not going to happen. Like, with the way cancel culture is today, or like if you say the wrong thing or offend the wrong person, and Twitter calls for your business to be canceled and all your employees fired and blah blah, like, with that kind of culture going on right now in the small minority of our country, there's no chance Mother 3 is ever going to happen in America. They would prefer that game had never existed. And that's not going to change in the near future. Would they ever do like a 3D, like a new Earthbound game? I don't know. I highly doubt it. I mean, maybe. It's been long enough, I guess, to where they could try to reboot it with a totally original story and new characters and everything, but that's probably not the direction they'd go. They'd probably just do like a 3D remake of Earthbound Mother 2 if they were going to do anything, but I don't. Basically, that kind of decision would be based on, are people buying the virtual console, and are they playing the Switch Online version at all, like, you better believe Nintendo, like, actually pays attention to those metrics of, like, who uses what online. Like, that's somebody's job to look at that stuff. That's just how online gaming works. Like, you as the player, your actions and what you play and what you do is studied, so they know what works and what doesn't, and what they can sell you and what they can't, and blah blah. Dragalia Lost. I mean, there's no confirmation, but like Fire Emblem Heroes notoriously had a thing where like they tracked like even like every tap that you made on the screen and every character you ever tapped on, and like they tracked all that and just kind of casually revealed that to the player base, like this character was tapped on the most this year. And that blew a lot of people's minds. You know, it's like, oh, it makes sense. I mean, it's an online game. Why wouldn't they track everything you do and analyze it, right? But there's a lot of tech companies that do that, and it can definitely be an evil thing. I think a lot of the really big tech companies out there, they're definitely using that kind of information for evil, to influence people to do the type of things that they want them to do, you know, in a sly way, that type of thing. I don't like any of that stuff, but when I'm willingly participating in an online game and they want to track how many times I click on Louise to hear her tell me what a nice breeze it is today, I'm okay with that, because you know what? If they asked me, I would tell them I love hearing Louise tell me it is such a nice breeze today. So I don't really mind if they collect that kind of info. That's fine. Hopefully they learn some useful info from Dragalia Lost, and if they ever make another Dragalia game, I hope it's bigger and better than this one ever was. It'll be hard to top. Like, even for a console game, this mobile game has so much polish and so much production value that had to factor into why the game wasn't doing as well. Not because, I mean, that doesn't make sense what I just said, but I mean, like, the cost to produce Dragalia Lost had to be so high that I think their threshold for making a profit was higher than a normal gacha game, right? And I don't think that helped. Anyway, Nintendo owning Dragalia Lost now, right? So I would love to have Dragalia on Switch. I've wanted that since like day one. Please, Nintendo, put a Dragalia game on Switch. I would buy it and play it every day. Like, please. It doesn't even have to be a 3D action game. It could be a side-scrolling RPG. It could be almost anything, and I would play it. Like, for me, Dragalia Lost is the characters, it's the dragons, it's the world and the story, and you know, the gameplay could be almost anything as long as the story had some similar threads and themes, you know, and they kind of kept to the original idea for the story. I think they could almost do anything and I would be happy. I don't know. It's maybe it's the art style. I mean, it's so expressive and bright and colorful, and I don't know. There's just something about Dragalia Lost. But I mean, how likely is it that Nintendo is actually going to make another Dragalia game? I don't know. Only they know, right? Uh, the Nintendo of America owning them thing is kind of weird. I don't really understand that because definitely Nintendo of Japan has more money, like straight up. So, like I don't know, I don't know what to make of that. I know the game's more popular here in the West, but it's just so unusual. If they made another Dragalia game, would they release it in Japan? I would assume so, especially if it was on Switch. I mean, there are very few games that are released in the West only. I would assume they would try to reintroduce the game to the Japanese audience under new management, you know? I would definitely rather have Dragalia not be a gacha, just because gachas are, by nature, like they prey on people with weak wills or who don't know that they have a gambling addiction, you know? And Dragalia has hard caps, so to speak, on spending, so it's way better than like 99% of the other gachas out there. But you know, in the first year it didn't used to be that way at all, and I think that's how I ended up spending more money that first year, because there were no sparks, so you just kept going till you got what you wanted or you gave up, and that was it. No guarantees, you know. But I'd totally love it if they just did like it's just a one and done game. You know, you spend $60, you get a great game, you play it, you beat it. Maybe you play online with other people, maybe you don't, and you just enjoy what you get. And I'd much rather just have that. The only disadvantage with that, right, is for a console game without a gacha, it's pretty rare to have this many characters. Like, there's over 200 characters plus character alts in this game. There's no way all of them would translate into another game. And I mean, even if they did like a Xenoblade kind of game where there was a gacha in the game, but it didn't cost like real money, you know, it was just an in-game currency. Sorry, there's a cat fighting in the background. If you hear that, apologize. Anyway, holy cow, that poor cat. Okay. Jeez Louise. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. There's just no way. Like, if they make a console Dragalia game, there's no way that all the characters are going to make it into the next one, right? Some of them would have to be, like, NPCs in the game, you know, like just a character in a house that you talk to, and they have a few lines of dialogue, and that's it. Like, realistically, that's what you would get for many of the characters. And then, because, I mean, you just can't have 200 playable characters in most games. I mean, you definitely could if the game was designed around that from the start, but that is just not a common thing. Not that kind of volume, you know. And that's really sad, because a lot of my favorite characters aren't the main cast. Like, the main cast are cool. They're great. I love them, but they're not the most interesting characters. Like, not even close. Oh, almost to a spark. Man. I'm tired and wanting to go to bed, but I told myself I would do this. I gotta force myself to work hard and keep going with this podcast series because I said I would and I really wanted to, and I want to try to at least get one episode out a week. So if you want to keep up, and hopefully the other episodes are going to be better, more interesting than this one. So I do apologize. This is just the last minute. Like, I wanted to do this like 2 days ago, and then we got the news about Valerio's Mana Spiral, and I was like, I was so hyped, and I wanted to do a video that night just talking about the Valerio Mana Spiral revealed in the news post, right? And then I was like, I was talking to some people, and they're like, well, what if his water damage buff isn't nihility proof? And I'm like, man, that would just gut me if that was the case. How can I make a video gushing about Valerio's Mana Spiral if one of the best things about it can't even be used in current endgame quests? How is that exciting? It's like, well, okay. So then I waited another day, and then I tried to record something last night, and I was too tired and too nervous. I just couldn't do it. So I was like, not another day can pass. I have to do something. I have to keep getting better at this. This is a hobby for me. So if you'd like to stay up to date and follow me along this journey with some endgame quests and co-op and just chatting about life in the game and stuff, then like and subscribe. And we are going to probably pick Kimono Knot. I really would like to pick Jupiter, but man, I don't know. I just can't justify picking him. Like, realistically, how can I use him? Like, I can only really use him in co-op. Blade AI is so terrible. It makes it tough. Oh, and that's the thing about Valerio, right? Is he has custom AI, and it's not perfect, but it's better than a regular Blades. So here we go. Kimono Knot is now my ally. And with that, I'm going to bid y'all a good night. And I will see you next time.